I have actually enjoy when I get banned on TikTok because it's like it forces me to not have to go live for like a week.
Yeah.
It's like a vacation, so I'm like whenever it happens. But I've been doing that disclaimer on TikTok, and it's been helping a little bit. They haven't been banning me. They've banned me a couple times, but um, they always reinstate it within like 10 minutes.
Yeah.
So um, hold up, I just did the wrong thing. Boom. Let's see if that works. TikTok needs to do better with their live platform online. There it is. All right. I don't know if I'm live on TikTok. I'm assuming I'm live on TikTok, but anyway. So Ian, it's been a minute since we sat down and chop it up. So I'm stoked to do this and just kind of chill and hang out. You're
Yep.
currently in 30 below degrees in Alaska, trying not to die by frostbite.
Frostbite.
Um, and I'm in Texas where I think it's cloudy, but it's like 56 degrees. So
Sounds lovely.
I'm chilling. So what I wanted to do on this podcast, just purely for fun, just to chop it up and have fun. I had some friends that I would say I trust, but due to what they were doing for me, I'm gonna just say I don't trust them at all.
Yeah.
But I had them send me some videos that they've been watching on like social media, just random videos. So some of them I've like glanced at because I had to download them. So I downloaded them, so I saw like a couple seconds of them, but most of them I haven't watched really anything of them. And I already know just due to some of the people that sent me some videos, some are probably going to be kind of sort of political.
Okay.
Some of them are going to be probably really embarrassing and just trying to be like, I got you. Um, and I did have someone preview them to make sure they're all appropriate. So like they're all appropriate. I just don't know how. I just, I know a lot of my friends want to catch me laughing at the wrong. I'm like the worst person at laughing. Like something will happen and it's not funny, but like the way I deal with shit is like by laughing.
Yeah.
So we'll see how it goes. But anyway, we're gonna do that at some point. Watch a couple, react to a couple of videos, just for fun, because why the hell not? But how have you been, man? You're living out there in Alaska. You're a first responder. How's life been going, dude?
Pretty good. I took a break unintentionally last August when I broke my face at fire training. So that
we haven't talked since then.
Oh, we haven't. You know about it. We just didn't.
Snap. Okay, so timeout. Rewind. This is Ian. He is an Alaskan first responder, for lack of more intense details. And how many months ago was that this happened?
August 8th.
August 8th. This man took a hose to the face, right? Not hose, not like hose, not like the fun thing you could take to the face, but like a fire hose to the face.
Right
like
here. I gotta cover up. So this is a cup link that attaches a 3-inch supply line to either another 3-inch supply line. There's another coupling just like that, and it locks in like quarter turn. That's what hit me in the face at 140 psi.
Holy damn, dude.
It's safe to say I think any professional MMA fighter could punch me in the face and I'll live through it if I can live through that. So
and I think from experience, because I've used those connections and I've dealt with high pressure water and air, even for air hose. We've had some fittings pop off of air hoses at like 125 psi. And it's dangerous. I mean, it'll shatter your windshield easily.
Oh yeah.
So when you think of 145 psi, you said 140 psi, but you're also have a metal grommet the size of a freaking hockey puck.
Yeah, and that's about 4 pounds.
I'm surprised you don't look like Seal right now with just a scar down the whole side of your face.
Yep, I just have this little thing and it's slowly fading away because I'm brown and that's my complexion.
Oh, that's a bummer, dude. You should have kept that thing. You could have been Scarface, dude.
Right.
So how was the recovery on that, man? Because I saw some pictures and I saw you you look, you're borderline blackface.
Yeah.
So you almost got canceled by the woke mob. How was the recovery on that? Because it was for anybody who's listening, his face was black and blue. And what did you break?
So my zygomatic, I think, bone. It's basically your cheekbone. It's this whole like kind of triangular shape right here. So I don't know if we're live somewhere. So on visual watchers right now, I broke right here, and then the orbital floor that kind of holds your eyeball up, and then right here. So naturally, I have a titanium plate right here that they went in. They cut my eyebrow and then went in sideways, put that there, and then I have a plate right here. They've made a cut in the mouth and went up and put the plate there. And then I have an orbital floor implant, which they basically like did that whole thing, which that grosses me out. I hate anything with eyeballs, but they had to go in to support this. And that was like a precaution. The doctor was like, you might be okay, but in 40 years, if your eye starts drooping down because you're aging, I know. So I'm like, yeah, go ahead and put that in.
Oh, dude. I would be like, dude, that's great. That's something to look forward to as I get older. Just keep an eye on your eyeball, drooping,
Right.
falling out your face like an egg.
But your question, answer to your question, the recovery, it sucked. So, diving into the story, and I always like, I just like telling everyone like kind of every detail of the story. So I broke my face on Tuesday night. It's when we have like our Tuesday night fire trainings. And
so this was a training. You weren't even saving anybody's life.
No, this was like an annual training we do for water supply. So because we cover such a huge area, we don't have too many hydrants all over the place. So we have to train on how are we going to get the fire engine's water supply if we don't have hydrants. So we have these big, what we call fold-a tanks. They basically fold down. You pop them back up, and they can hold like 3,000 gallons of water. And you set up multiple stations, and you have multiple lines kind of sucking the water out into the attack engine. And we have a bunch of what we call pumper tenders that bring water and keep those tanks full. So we have to do this like annual training every year. And we flow like, I don't know, 2,000 GPM for 20 minutes straight without slowing down. That's the goal. And I'm like, you know what? I'm going to do water supply because that is the most carefree section of this. Everyone likes looking at the pump panels and people are getting in the way. I'm like, nope, give me 2 guys. I'm going to go down to the hydrant. I am in charge with filling up these tenders, as this is where they're filling up before they go and dump their water, and nothing can go wrong. That's the most chill job of the night. And the first one that rolled up, I'm a lieutenant. So typically like we kind of stand aside and watch our guys work, get the big picture. And one of my guys was doing like radio training. I'm like, you know what? I can go hook this line up and get this water flowing. I want this part of the night to go smooth because what's happening over there never goes smooth. So I hook up the line, quarter turn, and where I failed at is typically you want to open up the intake first before the hose line pressures up, and then you open it up. I didn't do that. The line pressured up. I was a good 8 feet away. I'm like, okay, yep, I think it's done. I walked up. I put my finger on the button, and then I hear this last second like, and I kind of turn towards the line, and like just some freak show last second pressure, and there was a twist further in the line which worked its way up, and then it quarter turned it back, and then blocked me in the face, and I didn't get knocked out. I remember I call it browning out, where like the vision starts doing this, like the fading, and then it just came to light. And I'm like, holy shit, that hurt, but the initial hit, it was like instant numb. So I'm just like, okay. I remember trying to count all my teeth. I didn't lose any teeth, but I was counting my teeth with my tongue. I couldn't feel my teeth. Like if teeth they have feelings, like I couldn't feel them. So I'm like, holy shit, I just lost like the left side
your
of my
whole mouth. Dude, you got browned out. That's what I do when I use the bathroom, dude. That's crazy, man.
Yep.
That's insane.
So I spent a week with broken bones because they stitched me up. And then a week later, I had my surgery. And then that was honestly that night of surgery, like after surgery, was the worst pain in my life, hands down.
So did you get on meds, pain meds, obviously?
They gave me like Percocet 10-325 that I took. So surgery was on a Friday. I took it that night, which seemed to take forever to work. I took it Saturday, and then by Sunday, I was on Tylenol.
Nice.
Yep.
Yeah, dude, I had some surgeries that were, and I tried, I avoid, like I still to this day have bottles of what is it called, Oxy, purely because for me it's like, unless I'm in, like I'm kind of that guy that likes to feel the pain, not a lot, like I'm not saying that I'm like this tough dude, but like I'm not the person that likes to be numbed out. Like I just don't like the feeling. I don't enjoy it. I feel out of control. I feel vulnerable. But I'm always curious to see if people, because I mean a lot of people need those meds, and that's the sad part. A lot of people get on them and they can't get off them because it's like, But that's crazy, dude. And you didn't even save anybody's life. That whole thing, you didn't even
Nope.
save nobody's life.
Nope, no cool story other than, if it was 2 inches higher, I could have been killed, according to my
Gee, I
chief.
mean, that's a pretty cool story. That's that
Yeah.
you got a purpose here now. So
Yep.
that's impressive, dude. That's crazy.
I'm still
I,
healing. Like,
yeah,
it's
I'm imagine.
numb right here.
Have you
I
lost? Do you have like lost nerves? Like, did you lose nerves in areas, or is it all supposed to come back?
Sometimes it can, or most of the time it can, sometimes it doesn't. Like, so right now, this is probably like 10% numb. So if I touch it real lightly, it kind of feels like that you're just coming off Novocaine feeling. And it goes all the way up right here.
Yeah, that feeling of coming off Novocaine.
If
Yeah,
if
totally.
I take
I
any
got you.
metal, here's a weird thing. I'll take my ring, right? It's tungsten. Any metal, I'm trying to get it off right there. I can taste that right now.
What? So they put your taste buds on the
No,
outside of your lip?
it's just a psychological nerve thing, man. I can taste metal when it touches my scar right there. Kid you not.
You're
It's the weirdest thing. It's the
you
weirdest thing.
alien ass.
It's so weird. I'm waiting for like, oh, what kind of metal you want to put on my face? I'll tell you exactly what it is.
Hey, let me close your eyes. Let me put this on your face real quick. Tell me what you taste. Oh, it's funny. Okay, I'm not gonna go there. I don't want to say it. We'll keep this PG. That's I don't know why that's so funny. That's crazy though, and that shows that like your body's a weird thing. Like when you actually
Yeah.
like, because I have cuts and I've had surgery here and there, and nothing ever feels the same. I wouldn't even say it's worse, but some things like even just my thumb, like you remember back in the day, like a couple months ago, sliced my thumb open.
Mhm.
My thumb here has like insane, like you would think you'd lose nerves, but it's actually more sensitive.
Mhm.
I don't know why. I mean, I can still see the scar going across my finger, but it's just weird, man. We have like weird, like this dives into the whole like we're not tapped into, any percentage of our capabilities as like humans,
You're right.
right? Which a easy segue to, and I don't know if you were on my live when I did this, moon landing. I need to get this out of the
Oh
way
yeah.
because I can't stop thinking about it. Okay, so just to clarify this, this is not conspiracy. This is conversation. I don't really give a crap what you guys think, but I cannot grab, and I don't remember if you think, I think you said you think we did it. I'm not sure, but for me, I cannot convince myself that we landed on the moon through all the information that I have. I can't convince myself. And I've been asking everybody. I've been asking random ass people, did we land on the moon? I want to be convinced of it because I don't like thinking we didn't, but no one can convince me of it. So, Ian, do you think we landed on the moon?
Honestly, dude, the more we get into it over the years, I'm starting to be convinced we didn't.
Damn it.
I'm sorry, man. I'm sorry. I mean, so like
Didn't you say on the live though, when we were on live, didn't you say I think we did, or was that
I
someone
said I
else?
was 50-50. Like,
Oh, okay.
it's like one of those things. It's like, man, the sharper our images get, and then you keep watching this, it's like, fuck, you can almost see strings.
Mm-hmm.
Like go watch a freaking movie from the set. Like, for example, 1939, Wizard of Oz, right? My son loves that movie. We were just watching it last week, and because they've enhanced it to 4K, you could see every freaking movie mistake possible in the movie. So I don't know, man. Like, I kind of wish we had a telescope powerful enough that we could buy and see the American flag planted, which still might not mean anything. Like, well, we could have landed there in the 80s and said, yeah, this is from 69.
I just, I just, so have we been back to the moon?
I don't think we have.
No, we
Other
haven't.
countries have, I think, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Now, now here's my logic behind this. What was the push to get to the moon? Nixon wanted morale for the United States of America, and Russia and China were working their way to the moon, right? If I'm not correct, I think it was Russia and China.
It was
We're working.
Russia number one, yeah, for sure.
Yeah, was working to be on the moon. And obviously, as America, we always want to be first. We always want to be big, bad, and ugly. You know what I'm saying? So when he was like, and we are going to land on the moon, and he made it a statement. It wasn't a question. It wasn't a we were going to try. He said we're going to do it. And then when the logistics and the technicalities just didn't line up, I think we were like, hey, if we can fake it, who's going to prove us wrong? Right? Who's going to go up? The only person that could prove that we didn't is someone who can make it up there to the exact same spot we landed on. How else can you prove it's not right? It's not real. Like you can't. So you could lie your ass off. So I truly believe, especially after hearing that director, that movie guy that did all the sci-fi movies, I can't remember his name. He came out and was like, "Yeah, I filmed it. I did it. I wrote the script. Armstrong didn't say the words right, but it was okay. It was this, it was that." I was like, what would be the motive for this guy to say these things? Like, I don't see the like benefit. Like he wasn't, and then he's dead now, of course, just like everybody who says something
Obviously.
crazy. And I was just like, you know what? And then the whole broadcasting, like, dude, we are just now in the last 10 years, 20 years, we are just now hitting the point where we can broadcast across the country with very minimal flaws.
Mhm.
Like where things aren't getting lost in translation. Where our images are coming in fairly clearly. Even nowadays, we still have unclear images. But you're telling me in 1969, when we were still driving automobiles without seatbelts and no air conditioning and driving with a beer in your hand was still legal, you're telling me we broadcast the landing of the moon from the moon to everybody's television in the United States. Do you know how far away the moon is?
Like 3,000 or 3,000, 3 million miles.
They would have to be sending that freaking signal like a week before, a week after it happened, before we even got it here. I don't buy it, dude. I
I don't.
don't buy it.
I'm sure there's an explanation beyond our GPA
Mhm.
that proves us wrong. So I'm not gonna pretend I'm a NASA scientist. But I see your point, and yeah, when you think about that, yeah, that was a damn flawless broadcast,
Yeah.
and
To
it was pretty
all
good looking on
televisions.
TV too, by the way.
It was like watching Star Trek. You're like, this is almost like it was filmed in a studio and broadcast from a recording.
Yep. Who
And,
knows, man? I mean, everything that we unveil nowadays, it would not phase me one bit. If
the
they just
more and
that was bullshit.
what brought this back up to me too was I saw the whole cornucopia Fruit of the Loom argument that lady went down on TikTok.
Mhm.
She literally like was trying to get copyright infringement lawsuit placed on her by creating clothing with Fruit of the Loom with the cornucopia because they were pretending like it never had one. And she actually found out that it did have one, but it was scrubbed
Yeah.
from the internet. The company was pretending they didn't have it, all this other stuff. And you start to see same thing with the Monopoly with the guy with the monocle. It's just like you see this stuff being scrubbed from like our information, like our internet. And I just, and some of it's true, some of it's, just crazy people, but like, I don't know, dude. Maybe that's the psyop. Maybe the psyop is to not confuse you or eliminate information from you, but it's just to not trust anything. Maybe that's what's happening.
You're
Is
getting into
there
like Mandela effect stuff now, talking about
that's what I'm talking, but that's what I'm saying. The Mandela effect is what made me dive deeper into the moon landing because for me, you realize how much of what we consume is intentionally crafted, not organically created. You know what I mean?
yeah.
Scary.
There's a pretty good movie I think called Mandela Effect that you should go watch. It's been years since I've seen it, but
Is it
if you
really
want
a
to if
movie?
you want to trip, I mean, you don't watch movies, so never mind. Ladies and gentlemen, if you watch movies, go watch Mandela Effect.
There's a movie about it?
Yeah, I'll have to look it up, but it's been years. It was like a B-rate movie on freaking Hulu, but surprisingly, it's one of those like, yeah, it's not that bad.
I'm gonna mark it down because I've been.
I
Oh,
want
I
to
see.
say it was
Yeah.
like a guy that had a daughter, and I think the daughter dies, and then something happens to her. Like the daughter never actually existed, but he swears on his life that he did have a daughter, and then I can't remember if he proves it or not at the end, but it's something big, but also Mandela effect. Same thing, like logos that you swear were like the Kit Kat. Swear to God, it had a dash in the middle of it, or vice versa, and they're saying like it never had a dash. Or Berenstein Bears or Berenstein Bears, the whole thing, or the Shaq movie that never existed. Not Shaq movie. What the hell's his name?
What?
Black actor. Yeah, there's a movie, not Kazam, because there's Kazam, but that's what
Yeah.
started. I'm gonna freaking Google it.
Who? A black actor that had a movie?
Hang on, Mandela Effect, Kazam. I think it was Kazam, because Shazam is the Shaq movie where he was a genie, right?
Yeah. I think.
So there was another one. I'm trying to find the freaking actor. Sinbad. Everyone swears up and down that Sinbad was in a very similar movie. There's pictures of this movie existing where he played a genie, very similar to Shazam, but it was called Kazam. And like people swear up and down like they have like a VHS copy, and it's like it never existed. It's not on the internet, But that's kind of what started the Mandela effect sensation on the internet was this movie.
See, and that's the thing. The more like the Mandela effect can happen from I would say from 2015 on, they can do it without hardly any backlash because we don't have hard copies. If you scrub it from the online world, we don't have anything like the Fruit of the Loom. The only way she eventually proved that Fruit of the Loom was lying was by finding an actual T-shirt that had the cornucopia on it that was Fruit of the Loom. Right? That's the only way she could actually prove it exists. Nowadays, it's like, oh, this movie existed, and like if you can't go on Netflix and find it, it's like you never owned it. You never had the DVD copy sitting in your house. Like you can't be like, oh yeah, no, this did happen. And then you got the Cat Williams interview coming out, and you're just like, man, I don't. I just need a little piece of land and to be left alone, man. I don't even want to ask questions about this anymore.
Right.
It's a wild world, dude. It's I don't know, man. I keep, and even like the Helen Keller thing I was talking about the other night too. I
I
just
missed that one.
find you weren't on for the Helen Keller conversation?
No. I try to hit your early ones while I'm getting the kiddo ready, and I can do some moderator stuff for you. And then throughout the day, if 911 calls are virtually non-existent, I can sit and watch your shit all day. But other than that, yeah, sometimes I miss it.
Dude, so well, it was an evening. It was a couple of evenings ago, and I was talking about Helen Keller.
Mhm.
Now, I'm not knocking Helen Keller's legacy. If you're Helen Keller's great great granddaughter, chill out. But dude, how do you teach someone who's blind and deaf how to do anything? This chick was a painter. She wrote movies. She could read. She wrote books. She could read. She could read Braille, supposedly.
Maybe she
Like,
wasn't actually blind and deaf.
there's something fishy because here's the thing. Give me your best shot. Okay, I'm blind. I can't see shit. Everything's black, like Akon, and I can't hear anything. I'm literally just completely deaf. Now that I can't see and I can't hear, teach me something.
No comment. How the fuck do you do it? Sorry, I dropped the
E-
F-bomb. How the hell do you do it? I don't know.
Exactly.
I don't know.
Exactly. And
But
that's my
how
thing.
blind was she? Was she I'm seeing nothing but black blind, or was it like legally blind to where okay, everything's super blurry, but you could still see shapes and everything looks like a watercolor painting? Like,
But even then, like, so people are like, well, they could teach with feel. Like, if you wanted someone like, oh, this is a circle, and she would hold a circle. Sure, I understand that, but how do you tell her it's a circle? This is water. You
I don't
can't
know.
tell her it's water. You can pour water on her hand, and she's like, this feels like it feels, but how do you explain what that feeling is? You can't say water. You can't say this is red. You can't say they, them, she, her, right? She didn't know her pronouns. She didn't know she was a woman. And yet this lady went on. For me, and people are like, it's the miracle. I'm like, it would have to be. The only way I'm buying this is if it was a miracle, because otherwise, bullshit. I'm calling it bullshit. Helen Keller was a fake story that they made to remove kids' excuses from being lazy and incompetent. They're like, if we can create a story of a lady who is deaf and blind, no kid's gonna have an excuse as to why they can't. Because I took it as motivation as a kid. I'm like, damn, this chick can't see or hear. I could, and she became like, I could be, So I think it's a wives' tale, dude. But there's pictures of her, so
According to Google, she was a socialist. I don't know how she figures that out either. There's a podcast I listen to. There's a podcast I listen to, Drinking Bros. They have a shirt that said Helen Keller was a fraud.
she's a socialist.
Dude,
Please, Helen Keller,
I
explain to
googled
me
her.
what
I know who
socialism
Helen
is.
Keller was, but I googled it just to like, okay, let me brush up on Helen Keller, and the first thing that pops up, Helen Keller was one of the great American socialists.
Oh
I didn't
my
even click on anything. I just googled her name.
god, dude! How? What is a so it have? Well, I mean, it makes sense because socialists can't even explain how their socialism would work in the first place. So maybe that's why, because she was just as confused as a socialist. Maybe all socialists should be blind and dumb, and not dumb. I mean, dumb in the sense of mute. So just so you
Yeah.
guys know. Um, but that's oh gosh, dude, I just don't
I'm
buy it.
looking right into her soul right now. I don't think she's blind.
That's what I'm saying, dude. She was like, if I pretend I'm blind, because how cool is a story, deaf and blind? Cool. But if you're just deaf, people are like, get over it, deafy. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
people don't have sympathy. Or if you're blind, like, all right, well, tons of people are blind. But it's like, I can't see and I'm blind. Now you got a story. Now you're famous for being, whatever you call someone who's combination of um both. Um
There's a picture of her smelling a rose. Sorry,
she's
I'm
smelling.
sorry. It's been
I'm
forever
I've
since
I know. I did a whole dive on all her information the other night, and I was like, the more I looked into it, the more I'm just like, something's fishy, dude. She could either see or she could hear, and they kept one of them a secret. And then they I don't know,
I
man.
think we need. I'm not gonna say it. I was gonna say some dark humor, but I'm letting the dark humor side come out.
Dude, I know. I got dark the other day on my live. I was somebody who was watching a TikTok live. Her husband was blind, and she's like, "My husband's blind, and he's a drone pilot and a, a videographer." And I was like, "Interesting life path." I did the same thing. I was like, I thought it was a joke, and it wasn't a joke. And then apparently he was like a big fan of mine, and he joined the live later. His name was John or John. I think it was John or Johnny or something. And apparently he can't. He isn't. He's legally blind,
Okay.
so he has some vision, which to be honest, some vision is a big deal. Like there's a huge difference between blind and some vision, because some vision gives you colors, shapes,
Yeah.
direction. You could still decipher things. So maybe they didn't have the term legally blind back then during
So
Helen Keller.
technically, without my contact lenses in, I am legally blind, according to the internet.
Because isn't it something that's like what's the vision?
Because I'm at like you must see 2200 without glasses or contacts. So so when I buy my contact lenses, both eyes, I'm like negative 4.25.
I don't know what you're talking about.
I'm trying to find what considered
2200, dude. So like 100 and what 80 less than 2020.
Yeah.
That is blind. Because I used to have, probably not anymore. I used to have 2020 and 2015 in both of my, one I was 2020, one was 2015. Now I'm probably way less than that. But I
Okay,
remember.
so sorry, if you are minus 2.5 for your vision, you are considered legally blind. So I'm minus 4.25 for both eyes. So I'm technically legally blind without my contacts.
What's up, Helen Keller? Lose your
know,
ears,
right?
and all of a sudden you're a story, dude. You're gonna be
painting.
famous. Yeah.
I'm gonna take my contacts out, start painting. I'm retiring. I'm gonna start selling this art.
Yeah, dude. Dude, especially with all these disabled people, or not these disabled people, but with all these disabled advocates, dude, they'll buy your stuff even if it's garbage just because of the virtue signal. You know what I mean?
Hunter Biden can sell his paintings at $500,000 each. I think I can too. I probably dropped some trigger words right there. Sorry.
I know my brain, let's say my brain froze. It didn't freeze. I froze it because it was going down a bad place. Yeah, art. My brother was an art major in college, and he kind of opened my eyes to art, because art is nothing. Art is probably one of the biggest, not biggest scams, because it's in the eye of the beholder, right? But it's one of the biggest scams, for lack of a better word, because there's no tangible value to art. So art is purely what the purchaser sees in it. So there's I wish I had the video. There was a guy who was like, if you want to make quick money, um, make art, value it at a certain amount, and then take out an insurance policy on that art, and then you can loan against that piece of art due to the insurance you carry on it. And then if you don't pay that loan back, the bank will repossess your art, and you sold a painting. And I was like, that is the dumbest thing. That's called insurance fraud, my guy. Like that is not legal. You can't do that. Um, but that's really, honestly, technically, art is in the eye of the beholder. So if you draw a painting and I'm like, hey, I want to pay $1 million for that, I can pay $1 million for that because I feel as though it's worth $1 million. And
Yep.
to me, it's just, it's like Bitcoin. It's like, what is the backing of all this? Like, we don't know.
So speaking of art, I'm sure you've seen this story. Jens Hanig in 2021 sent a museum a blank canvas under the title "Take the Money and Run," and he got $84,000 for it. It was just a blank canvas. I think he had to pay it back, like he got sued eventually, but for your example, art can be anything and absolutely nothing, and he gave him a blank canvas. "Take the Money and Run" was the title of the art piece.
Honestly, that is art, though. When you think about that, someone fell for that. That is the art of the deal right there. Donald J. Trump, create nothing and sell it for something. That's insane, dude. I've watched some of those videos on TikTok where there's like people that like the one dude that pokes a hole in the bucket of sand, and all the buckets of sand fall down, and everyone's like,
It's amazing.
And I'm sitting there being like, dude, I did that at the beach when I was 6. Like, we're what? Like, or the guy that jumps on the trampoline and draws an arc on the wall. I'm like,
You want I'll one up you on that one, all right? I remember years ago when I used to watch TV, there was a gentleman who would drink edible paint, and then he would eat like Lucky Charms and then barf it up onto a canvas and sell it. Do you remember seeing that?
thank the Lord Jesus. No, I
I
do
remember
not.
seeing it, and I was like, man, and all this art talk, like you and I both are probably in the wrong business nowadays.
Barf paintings, dude. So I'm actually deathly horrified of regurgitating. I haven't thrown up since my 21st birthday. I threw up, but I was passed out, so I don't remember it.
Mm.
But consciously, I haven't consciously thrown up since I was probably 6 years old.
Really?
I am horrified. So when I was about 6, I ate too many Cheerios and milk because my parents finally let us have milk. I wasn't allowed to have milk as a kid. So I ate like 3 bowls of cereal and puked it up. And then even after I puked all of it up, I ended up throwing up, like dry heaving. And it just tore my throat up and it was like acid and all this other stuff. And that traumatized me towards throwing up. And since then, I have not thrown up except for my 21st birthday. That's the only time I've thrown up since I was 6 years old. I'm not scared of much, as you know, and throwing up, dude. I've been wasted, and people are like, throw up, it'll make you feel better. I'm like, I'll live in this misery before I even let anything come out of my body from my mouth. Like, it's an issue. So
They have a word for you. Do you know it
uh,
already?
barfophobe.
Em- Emetophobia is a specific phobia that involves an extreme fear of vomiting.
Dude, that's what is it called?
I think I'm saying it incorrectly. Emetophobia. EMETO phobia.
Emetophobia. Yeah, I have that.
You're an emophobic.
I'm an emophobic, not to be confused with homophobe. I'm an emophobe. I don't like throwing up, man. That's crazy. I really don't though. That and heights.
I don't blame you. I don't
There's
like
a
it
g-
either. Who does? Like, I bulimics like
there's
to,
a
but
there's a guy on my live that keeps saying this guy's always whining. He joins every one of my lives and tells me that I'm whining.
who is it? I'm
And
gonna go on your live right now. Hang on.
I have no idea. There's only a couple people
I
on live.
totally forgot we were on live. I'm like, holy shit! I should tell
He's
my
a
wife.
he's got 3 followers. He's a troll, but I like my troll. Dude, I feel bad for the people that like enjoy watching my content because I'm so more intrigued with the trolls than
Yeah,
I am with like the people encouraging me. Like I don't want pats on the back. Pats on the back aren't fun. But I think people are starting to realize that. So rather than like say something, they'll just like try and like hurt my feelings because they know they're gonna get a better response out of it. Um and I don't know. I like people when they complain about me.
I
Gives
should have
me
been reading this the whole time. James Curtis. I'm sorry, Corey Adams. Drop tank, tender tank guy. All right, cool. Maybe are you a firefighter, Corey? The tea drinker. I'm not drinking tea. Just FYI, I know you're drinking water, John. I saw that earlier. I'm drinking Buffalo Trace.
Oh man, pour. I wish you could pour things through the internet, dude. How cool would that be if you could just like share a little drink through, or like or maybe not a smell. I don't want to smell, but like if you could like transport a drink, like stat, just bam, like let me pour it into this little portal on my screen, and it like just bloop, and I got a good glass of whiskey sitting right here.
Right? That'd be cool.
That'd be dope, dude.
We wouldn't go anywhere.
Dude, I would be on live just sipping
Uh,
different kinds of whiskeys from every human on the internet. I'd be like, dude,
Hopefully, it's whiskey.
yeah, right. You could end up on a live pretty quick by some haters of just being like, all right, here's a little I'm not gonna
I
say
don't know
it on
how.
here.
I don't know how you do it on TikTok, man. Sometimes I have to leave your lives for the amount of stupidity that you bring in.
Dude,
I don't know how you do it.
I foster an environment for stupidity though, and I like it because I feel like I came from a place of stupidity. Like I genuinely used to be a very, very ignorant, closed-minded, everybody else is the problem kind of guy.
Yeah.
And after you break free of that, you kind of want to go straight back to it and help other people out of it. So like my lives come from a place of like I'm not trying to convince you to be a better person, Ian. You
Mm.
you have that drive, that motivation to be better. A lot of people, most people that agree with me have the drive to be better and are motivated on in their own right. So like to talk to you, like I enjoy the dialogue. Like right now, I'm not doing this for views. I'm doing this because I want to sit down and talk with you, right?
Yeah.
But like if I genuinely want to try and spark conversation, I gotta find the, for lack of a better word, the the I'm on TikTok Live, I guess, the not so intelligent people, because that's where I can find out what they're thinking, right? I want to know, earlier when I was on live earlier today, they were like, yeah, like, do you think Biden's articulate? And they're like, yes. And I'm like, that's just crazy. Like, I don't want to argue. I just want to know why. Like, what are you seeing that I'm not seeing? Or what are you seeing that isn't there? Like, I'm just curious. That's entertaining to me. I'm curious. Actually, great segue. I have a video pulled up. I haven't watched the video. I can see from the little thumbnail that Kamala is in it. So let me play this video real quick and let's see. I genuinely, so for anybody watching, I don't know if there's anybody watching, there's a couple people watching these videos. Neither one of us have seen. We've never watched these videos. I have a little cue on my left hand side with a blurry image. I want to say maybe like Pierce Morgan or something, or somebody's on. I don't know. Let's play the video. Let's see.
And I have been fortunate and blessed to, during the course of being vice president, have many situations where it becomes clear to me that there are, people of every age and gender, by the way, who see something about being the first that lets them know they don't need to be limited by other people's limited understanding of who can do what.
Do you? Wait a minute. You gotta play that. I caught the words in between. Like...
did she say the word Asian? And did you hear that?
I mean, I know she said age but she said Asian, which
she said age and okay. So I heard her say Asian. I was hold up.
That's what they put in the subtitles because that's what it sounded like. She said Asian, and then I saw Banana Republic flash in there.
Let just one second.
And I have been fortunate and blessed to, during the course of being vice president, have many situations where it becomes clear to me that there are, people of every age and gender, by the way, who see something about being the first that lets them know they don't need to be limited by other people's limited understanding of who can do what.
That's our vice president of the United States of America.
Time out. What did she just? Okay, and this is not. I'm gonna play it one more time. Okay, I'm gonna try intentionally understand what she's saying.
Do we know? And what is she talking about? Like what?
Do we ever know?
Okay,
is this a thing? Let's think. I'm gonna pretend to be a hardcore Democrat, and I'm gonna listen to her like she is my savior.
Okay,
and I'm gonna genuinely try to understand this.
All right, I'm with you. Let's go.
Do you understand the words that are coming out of my mouth?
And I have been fortunate and blessed to, during the course of being.
Pause it.
Sorry. I forgot that there was an ending to that. I didn't restart the video.
Me.
Do you understand the words that are coming out of my? Okay. Okay. Just give me a second. All right, hold up. Okay.
Collect yourself.
Yes, sir. All right. Let's listen to the Vice President of the United States of America say something profound.
And I have been fortunate and blessed to, during the course of being vice president, have many situations where it becomes clear to me that there are people of every age and gender, by the way, who see something about being the first that lets them know they don't need to be limited by other people's limited understanding of who can do what.
I think I got it. I think I got it.
Okay.
She said, in so many words, that she said that there are people who are the first of their age, gender, and whatever, that are starting to not be limited by beliefs. And then I lost it.
You lost me already. I have no idea what you're talking about.
At that point, I don't. And she's just saying that there are people that are not letting other people's beliefs limit them. Past what she said after that, for the next, that was about the first 15 seconds, is people aren't being limited by other people's beliefs. And then she went on talking about, I honestly, listen, what, like, okay, listen, I if someone hopped on my live and said that, I'd be like, all right, let's figure this out. Like that would be somewhat expected. The crazy part about this is, as a vice president, as someone whose job is to communicate to the people, she sucks at words, dude. Like, if you said, John, who's the least articulate person in the world? One, her or Joe Biden would take number 1 and 2. Like, just no question, right? Yeah. As of people who are in the spotlight.
Can you imagine being married to this woman?
I can, actually, and you would be. I've seen her husband. I've seen him speak, and
look him up.
Your job is to, I can't say it on live, but let's just say, be very, very, very submissive and say, "Oh yes, honey, that sounds great. I totally understand. Yes, absolutely." Like
Douglas Emhoff,
she would beat you 100%. If you said, "You sound not smart," she'd be like, "You anti-woman hater," and I'd just be like,
So her last
she
name
makes me feel more dumb. Wait, what?
Her last name is Emhoff. Technically.
Because isn't she Native American?
Douglas Emhoff is her husband. So she's Kamala Emhoff. We've been lied to this entire time.
Kamala Emhoff. Well, no, because taking a man's last name is sexist. Come on, bro. We don't bow to no man.
My wife's in your TikTok live right now.
What's good, wifey? Is that virtual gravy?
It's a Nicole 13. Nicole 13.
Oh.
She's in Montana right now with my mom and sister for my other sister's baby shower. So it's just me and the boy the next 3 days.
The boy.
That
sounds like a movie of like journeying across Alaska. Me and the boy.
We have the midget cocaine on standby. With
our donkeys and pack mules and a wolf we have to fight off with our bare hands.
She just messaged me. Are you drinking? I'm like, yep.
Nope.
It's February 1st, man. Dry January is done.
It's colored water for podcast effect.
I'm drinking tea in this Buffalo Trace bottle.
Dude, we'll talk about that later. That's not podcast material. We'll get into that. I'll text you. Anyway, okay, so I'm gonna take this movie down because this is too fun. I'm gonna put another movie and a video up. And by the way, for anyone watching, I've not screened these videos. All I have is like a blurry thumbnail, and I'm watching the video. This one is, I can't even tell because it's so small. It's like a half screen. So let's see. I know who sent me this. This might be. All right. If you screw me over, dude, you know who you are.
My love for balloons is also a sexual love. When I see a beautiful balloon, my heart starts to flutter and I get aroused. I'll take a 12-inch and I'll inflate it to 11-inch. That way it can take a lot of abuse.
What? Did he just say he'd take a 12-inch and inflate it to 11 inches?
What abuse is he talking about?
Did you hear? Did he say abuse? That way he can take some abuse.
He could take a lot of abuse.
Hold on.
That again. I need.
Are you getting an echo on that?
I'm not getting an echo. Are we getting an echo?
I'm getting an echo. No, when I play the video.
Oh no, it sounds good to me.
Oh, all right. Hold up. Let me play it again. Did he say he's attracted? He's. Hold up. Let me listen to it again.
I heard a lot of words.
My love for balloons is also a sexual love. When I see a beautiful balloon, my heart starts to flutter and I get aroused. I'll take a 12-inch and I'll inflate it to 11-inch. That way it can take a lot of abuse. I'm holding one, hugging it. I'll kiss it, and it's like being in heaven. I mean, don't you like to hug and kiss a woman that you love?
Okay.
Wow, dude. Thanks for sending me that video, bro. I appreciate it, man. Uh
Couple things wrong with that.
he said he has a sexual attraction to balloons. So I'm not going to judge because I get it. I get it. There are things in life, I'm not going to say what, that are similar to balloons that people are attracted to. I understand that. Actually, the most attractive parts of bodies usually resemble water balloons or larger balloons. So first off, the man's not completely crazy. Let's give the man a little ounce of sanity. Where he lost me was inflating the 12-inch. Like, have you ever measured a balloon? I didn't know they came in different sizes. I knew there were smaller ones, but this man knows this is a 12-inch balloon. I'm going to inflate it to 11 so it can take a little abuse.
I'm confused. That's where I wanted to chime in. He's taking a 12-inch and inflating it to 11.
So it has a little more elasticity to take the abuse.
So it's going down?
No,
12 to 11?
But no, that's what I'm saying. He bought 12-inch balloons because he knows that type of geometry. And he knows that if he leaves an inch out, if he leaves a cubic inch of air out of that sucker, he can bat it around a little bit and it won't pop, which is a smart move on his part. But here's the thing that I respect this man. He's, instead of abusing something, he's choosing to take it out on balloons.
Fair enough.
I bet give him 5 years and we're going to see him in the news marrying a balloon, and he'll be non-binary or Zazer, and we will all be calling him an American treasure and telling him how proud we are of him.
Fucking Taylor Swift. Dude, don't get me started. This is going to be your worst episode ever.
Wait, who said Taylor Swift?
I did, but you said American treasure, and someone on Twitter recently called Taylor Swift an American treasure, so I figured you were tying the two together.
Wait, so time out. Is Taylor Swift not an American treasure?
No, she's not.
Oh, that you anti-Swifty.
I am very anti-Swifty.
Explain yourself, you heathen. First off,
all right,
Taylor Swift's first album, 16, banger.
Any album is a banger when you write about choosing the wrong male.
She wasn't writing about that. Well, yeah, she was. Not a lot. She was.
Every album.
But I was going through it at the time. So I was like, I know what it's like to choose the wrong person. So, like, I love you, Taylor. We should be together.
I just think, okay, she's a 3 out of 10 at best, even when I'm intoxicated.
That's true, though. That's factual. She's about as middle of the line as you can get.
She is Napoleon Dynamite in drag.
Damn. I don't know about that, but keep going. Let's hear.
Look it up. Look at Taylor Swift and Napoleon Dynamite. Just do it. She will never have a song that is equivalent to Bohemian Rhapsody by Queen. So 30 years from now, is anyone going to listen to Taylor Swift? No. That's where I grade.
And that one more time. In how many years?
30 years from now. So I play guitar. I taught myself guitar at the age of 10. I don't know how to read music. I listen to everything by ear. I can play bass. I'm not like a freaking expert, but I can play guitar. In 30 years, she will not have one song to the equivalent of Bohemian Rhapsody as Queen. No one will know her shit in 30 years. Her music is popular like within the temporary bracket of 1 year to 2 years. Same as I feel as like most hip hop, just that stuff, that song, it doesn't last decades, and hers will not. Promise you. And that's how I judge musical talent. I'm sorry.
I'm thinking about it though, because so you know what? Screw the disclaimer. I think you might be wrong.
Okay, that's fine.
I think that, like Slamming Scream Door, whatever the song's called. This song is a slamming screen door, sneaking out late, tapping on your wind. That song, dude, that song's already like 10, 15 years old, and it's a banger still. Now, I'm not going to say that you can walk around the street corner and say, do you know Slamming Screen Door by Taylor Swift? Probably not.
Yeah.
Would I say she's a national treasure? No. But is she groundbreaking to a certain extent? I would have to say yes. Now, here's the thing. I genuinely think Taylor Swift is leaps and bounds ahead of Beyonce every single day of the week.
I agree.
I've listened to Beyonce and I've wanted to be intrigued with Beyonce. Her songs to me are the most average R&B pop vocalist. Like I think Adele's better than her. I think even Lady Gaga has better songs with her. I'm not saying I like these artists, but I'm just saying like I've
Mhm.
heard artists in every genre that are more powerful, more produced, more whatever than Beyonce. And yet she's played up to be this thing that's like Queen Bee. And I'm like, dude, she's really so average when you think about the talent.
Yeah.
Listen to go watch The Voice, like the final 3 episodes, and you'll see more talented singers with a better vocal arrangement, better, capacity and range. And I think a lot of it comes down to image because specifically Taylor Swift, she's not a great artist when it comes to the art of singing. She's a
Mhm.
great artist when it comes to the art of a brand, like an actual all-encompassing, you know, um, brand, I guess you could say.
I
But
mean, so right now I'm like a Taylor Swift hater just because of the fact that she's tied with NFL right now. I don't watch football. It's like
me neither.
everyone there's a whole psyop conspiracy that she's going to do like a Biden endorsement during a Super Bowl when
She
Chiefs win the
did.
Super
Didn't
Bowl.
she do it already?
She did originally when he was running, I think, but there's like a conspiracy to where there's going to be a Taylor Swift Biden endorsement after the Chiefs win the Super Bowl, or there's going to be a commercial of her endorsing President Biden because she already endorsed him originally. But so that's the reason why I have a grudge. I mean, she's worth $1.1 billion and she still complains about shit and being oppressed. But us setting that aside, I'll give her credit. She writes her own music. There it is, Napoleon Dynamite.
That's just dirt, dude. Look at this right here. This one right here. Oh, the one with the glasses.
Yeah.
I could see it. I could see it. I get it.
Hands down, right now, I could probably have a drink with Taylor Swift and be totally fine with her. I'm not 100% hating. Just right now, it's super annoying. I'll give her credit. I think she writes most of her own music, like by her. Like Beyonce has like 10 different people that write her
She
music.
doesn't write. She shows up and
She doesn't, yeah.
sings.
And she repeats like 90% of the words.
But here's the thing about Taylor Swift, and I think Taylor Swift plays it well because I'll tell you right now, the Taylor Swift fans, they're the lead, they're the people who aren't talking about her hardly at all. The people talking about her, you and me. The
Yep.
people talking about her, the people that genuinely hate her. People talking about her, the people that are upset with her. She's created an ecosystem where the haters give her more attention than her most dedicated fans, and everyone that's out there complaining about Taylor Swift is the reason Taylor Swift is as big as Taylor Swift is. So for me, I can't even hate on the game because she's done such a great job of inserting herself. Even when she came out with a documentary, I watched that thing and I was actually pleasantly surprised with her ability to articulate her thoughts, be unapologetically herself. Now, I don't like what she stands for necessarily, but I'm like, again, like I always say, I don't care what you stand for as long as I truly believe that you are authentic and 100% behind it. And I'll be honest, I feel like she is 100% who she is. Now the conspiracy about her and Mr. Satanist dude, that threw me off quite a bit. And I think that's the biggest reason why I just don't trust her. Not because I believe the conspiracy, but just because I kind of believe the conspiracy.
Yeah.
And I don't know, man. I'm not mad at Taylor Swift. I honestly, if I had to choose someone in the NFL that I liked least than Taylor Swift, it would be Travis Kelce more than anyone. That dude bothers me. He's that dude, and I played football. You guys know I played football many years on all levels, from high school to professional, very very short. And there's players like Travis Kelce who honestly try to act humble, but they are the most removed from reality individuals that have had their ego pumped up so high that like I just don't know. Like Jason Kelce, I love him. His brother, awesome, but yeah, the whole situation, honestly, if there's anyone to blame, it's the NFL for constantly cutting to her, but they want to sell tickets just like everyone else. And how many, and I don't know if you're on my live before, but how many celebrities, like top tier celebrities or singers have dated NFL players? Like we had Kim Kardashian dating not George Bush, Reggie Bush. Could you imagine Kardashian dating George Bush?
No.
We had like Kim Kardashian dating Reggie Bush. We had Ciara dating, Russell Wilson. I think they're married now, actually. We have, Giselle dating or married to Tom Brady. Like, we've had this level of stardom outside of the NFL, dating NFL players. Taylor Swift's no different than that, except the fact that we unintentionally choose to give her this platform. So
Yeah.
again, you're welcome, Taylor. I'm doing this for you. I'm one of the people that's giving you the traction, and I ain't gonna blame you for it. I can't.
I agree. I mean, I'm one to admit, like, if you prove me wrong, I will admit that I am wrong. I'm not a musician. I just know a little bit about writing music. I love music. She's a talented artist. Props to her for writing her own shit lately, I guess. But her music don't jive with me.
So Angel on TikTok said Taylor Swift is not on Beyonce level though. I would have to disagree, dude. I think she's far beyond that. Far beyond that. I wouldn't say maybe. I mean, yeah, she maybe doesn't. She doesn't rep the Illuminati as often, but like, if you think, I mean, she owns a busing company that makes her millions of dollars each year. Like, she makes millions off music, but she actually has an insane business portfolio as well that she's done on her own, not tag team with Jay-Z, not inserted herself into the music industry, taking advantage of artists. She's gone outside the music industry and created multiple businesses that have been successful. Obviously, she has an awesome business strategist. So, but she chose the right guy. She's in the right circles. I don't know, man. I can't be mad at her. I don't like her, but I'm not mad at her. Like, I don't like Joe Biden. I don't like a lot of people. It doesn't mean I'm mad at him. I'm not going to blame her for being on the NFL. The NFL is the one that runs the cameras. She's not like, hey guys, I'm only showing up to the games if you give me, 7 minutes of camera time during the game. Like, they're doing that for her. I don't know. I don't know how we got on.
It's going to go two ways. It's going to go two ways. All right, here we go. 2024 small town famous prediction. Either she's gonna marry what's his name that she's dating right now. I don't watch football. I'm sorry.
Travis.
He's gonna propose to her when they win the Super Bowl. I'm already putting fucking money. I should actually, that's a lie, but I should put money down on Chiefs winning the Super Bowl because I believe it's all planned out. But if they don't win and they break up around June-ish is what my gut feeling is telling me, we are going to have the greatest Taylor Swift album of all time after they break up. And that will have it'll be a 13-track CD with maybe 4 bonus albums sorry, I'm buzzed already. 4 bonus songs released later. But that will be her Bohemian Rhapsody after she breaks up with the Chiefs guy.
Why do you think that?
Because her strong suit is writing about the negativities and the downside of life, as most artists, I believe, write their best music with the dark side of life versus the happy side of life.
True. You have to have struggle in order to get that real art coming out. When I was doing rap music, when my life started becoming better was when my music suffered, because like, you're like, okay, what am I going to rap about? Going to work on time and paying my bills. Like, ain't nobody want to hear about that. They want to hear about, car accidents. They want to hear about, paraphernalia, for lack of a better word, being on TikTok live. That is true. I don't know, man. I don't know. Yeah, man. I don't know. I don't know if I care.
I don't care. At the end of the day,
I think that's what I'm saying. I don't know if I care. Like, I would love for her to have her Bohemian Rhapsody. I wouldn't care if she didn't. I'd love for her to be the biggest artist. I don't really care if she's not. Like, I just don't like. Dude, another segue, because the number one song on YouTube currently, and I think on a lot of the charts, is the Ben Shapiro Tom McDonald song. Listen to me when I say, as a former rapper, I get it. I get why y'all like it, but his rap wasn't that good. Like, as a former rapper, there's nothing more frustrating than creating lyrical masterpieces that people are like, oh, cool bars, bro. And then some dude not even in the industry coming out with some mediocre bars, but purely because it's polarizing as to who he is and what he's doing. People are like, oh my gosh, bars, insane rap verse, one of the best rap verses ever. I'm like, you only think that because the guy's not a rapper. they're like, you could pull up any Lil Wayne lyric, you could pull up any Eminem lyric, you could pull up any Tom McDonald lyric, and it would be 10 times better than the entire verse that Ben Shapiro put out. But people are so infatuated with the fact that Ben Shapiro, Mr. Yarmulke, dropped, my pockets are fat, or my pockets are fat like Lizzo. And I'm like, dude, that is the most elementary bar that I could have seen coming from a mile away. I like it. I'm not hating on it, but it's like, y'all give some false hype on some stuff.
I feel like, I mean, obviously Tom McDonald wrote the lines that Ben. He's not even rapping. He's talking it. He's
talking on rhythm. Like there's no inflection, and I'm always an off time. Like I appreciate the off time, the half beats. Like when someone can like land a bar on a half beat and then pick up on that half bar. And, I mean, people probably don't know what I'm talking about, but anyway, I've always looked into rap much deeper than like when you hear Drake rap, when you hear Lil Wayne rap, you can hear them like it's not like da 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 da. They do like the da 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 da. You know, like you have that, and that's a rapper. But when you get someone up there that's like, my money and my pockets are fat like Lizzo, something, and you're just like, dude.
That was literally just like, say these words right here.
yeah. Read the teleprompter.
Yep.
And don't mess up. But I mean, I think it's a cool song. I think Tom McDonald's pretty solid. I like what he does. He's actually a really good artist. When you think about his lyricism, when you also think about like his hooks, and his like musical compilation when it comes to verse, hook, intro, or pre-hook, all that other stuff, he does a really good job at that. I don't think he gets enough credit, and he keeps it unique. Like he keeps dropping new stuff that's like, he's kind of like the Eminem of politics, right? He's like, instead of slapping his mom around and hating his ex-wife, he's slapping the government around and hating the president. You know what I mean? It's the same as Eminem, just different target.
Do you think he's genuine? Like what he raps about, or is he riding the wave of like, well, I got this group of folks that like, they're agreeing with me with my political opinion?
I think he's genuine, because I don't think you can go that deep into something and not see it. Like if he's talking about those many issues that deeply and he understands that, you can't not understand that. Like if you're willing to write that, there's no way you're like, I'm talking trash, like, or I don't agree with this. You have to be like, this is a problem. Like, especially when he posts his videos about like the gender dysphoria and all this other stuff. It's like, he understands the issue. And when someone reaches that understanding, it's so hard to go back. It's so hard to be like, you know what? I think men should be able to play in women's sports. Like no one who's been able to understand the problem will ever say that. It's the people who have never understood the problem that actually don't agree. Because like, I even think there's more trans people that agree that women shouldn't play in women's and men shouldn't play in women's sports than there are trans people that agree that men should play in women's sports. Like, I think it's a complete false representation when we assume the trans community is upset about sports. I genuinely don't think they are. I think a very select few are, and the rest of them are like, yeah, no kidding. Like, this makes no sense. Like, why would you do this?
No, I agree. I was just asking because I like Tom McDonald. I've been listening to him for years now, honestly. But sometimes there's those creators that like, well, they jump on that wave. Like, oh, I got this audience, this certain audience. I'm going to keep writing about this regardless if I believe it or not. But
yeah, and you kind of have to, right?
Yeah.
How do you sell tickets, right? Is by catering to. That's what celebrities do. That's why I don't trust celebrities in general. So I get what you're saying.
Yeah.
As soon as you do, it's like switch up. But to get off politics real quick, I'm just going to play a video. You're looking something up. I'm going to play this video just real quick because I can see, I already know where this is going. I know where this video is going because I've seen, it's a huge trend on social media right now. It's not a trend. It's just something that people have been showing on social media more. And I've seen it. And I'm curious what this was going to be like.
Okay, I'm ready. Who sent you that for one?
Okay. First off, you've seen these videos online, right?
Yes.
It's like if it's like an energy thing, I think, where they like move energy through people's bodies or something.
Yes.
We've all seen it against our will, most likely. How do I say this? I think it's fake as hell. Okay, you can't do this to my body and be like, "Zzz," and then all of a sudden my whole body moves to the music. Like, one, you're either just dancing, you're just dancing on your knees, pretending to do yoga,
Yep.
or you're completely this is the equivalent to going to church and having the pastor lay hands on your head and then you just pass out on the ground.
That's like the
Right?
Pentecostal church, right?
I
Yeah.
grew up in a church where they did that, and I remember like, and I don't like admitting this, but I remember being like, you know what? I'm gonna go up there. I'm gonna go up there and get prayed for, and I'm gonna see if you have to fall down. And
Mhm.
my brother and I both went up there in bad faith, so that was probably one of the problems. And they were like, everybody lines up at the front. If anybody hasn't been to those churches, people go up front and they need healing, they need revival, whatever. You go up front, you line up, and the pastor, whether he's speaking in tongues or he's preaching something real fierce, like he's dropping an album, he's up there just being like, and strike you down, and then like people are just like, and they're slumping. And I remember just sitting in the audience being like, there ain't no way. There's just no way. So eventually we went up there, and I remember he put his hand on my head and he kind of did this, like he kind of pushed me. And I was like, not today, dude. Not today, man. I'm not going down. So I stood there. And like, so he did it again and he kind of pushed me and it didn't work. And I was like, this is not real. Like, I don't believe it. And eventually he gave me one more third push, which was a little bit stronger. And I gave in. I gave in to like the peer pressure of like, okay, I'm supposed to go down. That's how I feel about a lot of the hypnotism stuff. Where I was like, okay, I'm supposed like I got like just purely to not cause any more problems, like I'm gonna go down. That's what I think this stuff is. Like you want to feel it so bad, you want the energy so bad that you just fake it, right? Like I don't know. I don't and anyone if anyone's done this before, let me know. But like
I'm trying to read your chat. No one's saying anything. I've never done anything like that. Sorry.
it's weird, dude. It's weird. I see all these videos and I see them like when they're laying and they're like, oh, they're like convulsing.
Yeah.
And they're like, oh yeah, they're breaking free of all of their bad negative energy. And I'm like, y'all,
they're just spasm dancing.
Yeah, dude. Like and I hate being that guy, but I'm just like, you're crazy. You've lost your mind. You're not y'all need Jesus, okay?
I want to know what they're listening to.
It's kind of a banger. I'm not gonna lie. It's kind of a banger. I might jiggy with it too if I was on the mat. I'm not gonna lie, but still, it's like to pretend that it's like this energy is like. I think that's the world that we're in. People want to feel stuff so bad that they'll literally go anywhere. Like they'll do freaking goat yoga and like let goats climb on them while they're doing downward dog, as if like it's just. We like, dude, we are so out of touch with ourselves that we look for literally anything to feel something. It's kind of sad. It's really sad.
It is. I still want to know who sent you that.
So this was a friend from back home. And I don't know why he sent that to me, honestly, because he doesn't
I
like
was trolling you.
Like, we don't really send videos back and forth. And he was like, bro, I got a video that you can respond to. And I was like, all right, bet. I don't know what to respond to that except for bullshit.
I don't know either. I want to dance.
I do. I
want to do some yoga. Yoga is good for you, regardless as if you're, exorcism of Emily Rose or not. But
I took yoga for years. I loved yoga.
They try to get some of us firefighters to do yoga sometimes on Tuesday night trainings. It's a yoga teacher, and you have a bunch of dudes doing yoga.
Dude, it's no, but seriously, and people used to make fun of me because I did it when I played football because it's actually really good for balance and core strength.
Yeah.
Dude, it's like I haven't stretched in a while, and my body starts like honestly right now. Like I've been talking about doing more yoga because the more years that go by, like that I don't stretch, the more like right now my neck's messed up. Like I told you before we went live, like I have a strained neck. That's because I haven't been stretching. Like my shoulders get tight. Like yoga is awesome. I think when you dive into the whole that's when it's like, all right, dude, like chill out, like just stretch. Like it's a peaceful place to be. Don't make it weird. Just stretch your ass out, man. Let's go. Well, not that, but stretch.
But I mean, I get what you're saying. Side note, like I've been doing physical therapy for my face. For those of you,
what does that look like?
It looks like about 13 needles in my face, acupuncture.
Oh, damn.
He does a lot of neck work because of the blow I took, and I've been sleeping weird. So like I have to sleep on the edge of my pillow. So this right here can't really go on a pillow or else I'll wake up swollen. So that creates a lot of neck issues. So just side note, if you broke your face, there's physical therapy for it. I'm just throwing that out there.
Yeah, that's no, and physical therapy. I mean, as an athlete, I did a lot of physical therapy. Someone said actually it works, but you didn't want it to happen, so it didn't work for you. And that's what people were telling me. That's what people were telling me, especially when I went up there and they like prayed over me and they're like,
you need to want it to happen, is what they're saying.
yeah. Which also and as someone, and I say this all the time, as someone that studied psychology, I think that's where a lot of this comes from when it comes to the hypnotism on stage, when it comes to all this stuff. Like, I don't think people realize how powerful the subconscious is to buy into something for comfortability reasons and for acceptance reasons versus you actually needing something. Because I've seen people that need something and they receive it in so many different ways. And to assume everyone receives something by falling over, like that is the thing. And a lot of people are like, oh, the power of God is so heavy, the weight of it, sure, maybe for some people. But when you got a line of 50 people on stage and they're all like, I'm like, bro, God's not playing dominoes, dude. Like, he's just not. Like, there's no way. Like, you can receive it the same and stay standing. I don't know. Again, I have an issue with skepticism. Okay. That's why,
Okay. I'm gonna go to a Pentecostal church now.
It's hype. I'm not gonna lie. It's hype. It's just, I don't know. Speaking in tongues always creep me out too. And I was like,
amazed at the amount of TikTok viewers you have still.
There's still people on there?
There's 50, 40.
Really, dude? Dang. Normally when I do these lives, there's like 4, if I'm lucky.
They're driving around with their phone in their cup holders, just kind of listening
to this ridiculous, watching the
how many more you
got? I got this one. This one I do know. I watched the beginning of this one. I haven't watched the full one though.
Was a regular hoop session until this happened.
All right. Now this I do have an opinion on, okay?
Go ahead. I have no idea what I'm going to say, so go for it.
So basically what happened in this video is a white dude was playing basketball with the black people and he said the N-word, right? He was like, he said something like, what did he say? He said, let's go N-word or something like that. And then the black people were upset. Like, that's a racial slur. Technically, yes, it's a racial slur, but here's my opinion, my personal opinion. If you're going to scream the N-word at people, and then later in that video, she was calling everyone N-words because she's black and she can call everyone N-words. So she was like, take that N-word, talking to the white guy, which also doesn't make sense. In my opinion, if you are going to play a game of basketball and call white people the N-word and throw the N-word around 17 times during a game, bro, you've lost the ability to be mad when someone says that word. If you're like, I don't understand how we feel as black people that we can run around screaming the N-word at people and then have the right to be just insanely offended when it gets said back to us. If you weren't saying it, like for me, I don't say the word, right? I could if I wanted to, but I don't because I don't like the word. I don't want to use it. I don't want other people to use it. But also, if other people use it, it's none of my damn business.
Yeah.
You can't play a basketball game with people while throwing a word around that's supposedly not theirs and that they can't use and then get mad when they use it. Like, that just makes no sense to me. If you are that, she literally said in the beginning, in the middle of the video, she's like, that's a racial slur. It's like, what are you saying? And I'm like, what are you talking about? What are you talking about, Shaniqua? You just called me one of those things. At that point, I think it's fair game for me to be able to use it because you just called me one. So now, technically, in your words, I am just that. And I can't stand that people will literally get in people's faces and call them an N-word And then if a white person calls them one back, all of a sudden it's like the word somehow has changed. Oh, it's because of who it's coming from. No, bro, it's a word. You entitled.
Yes.
person.
I had a friend of mine I've known for, let's see, I'm 36 right now. 29 years. I don't know where she commented on Facebook years ago that she said, and I quote, "Black people are entitled to say that word because like you've earned it because you've been called it for 400 years." That's basically in a nutshell. It's not 100%
That's
quote.
the dumbest logic I've ever heard.
So you're okay to say it, John, but white people aren't. And you've kind of earned that because it was thrown at you guys for so long that now you're allowed to say it, but white people aren't.
What you mean, you guys?
That's kind of sort of, I'm quoting her. I mean, it was, Facebook commenting back and forth, blah, blah. She's kind of a liberal. I get along with her. I can have debates, talks with her. There's a lot of things we agree on. But I remember years ago, that's one thing she said. All I know is us brown people are kind of pissed off sitting in between. Like, what the fuck?
If you're going to say a word, you can't tell someone else not to. That's the base logic behind this. I don't care what you feel entitled to. First off, you didn't fight out from under slavery. You were born in 2021. Like, you know what I mean? Like, you were born in 89. Like, you didn't do anything. You didn't earn nothing at all. And the fact of the matter is, if you want to conquer the word and take it for yourself, even though it was a negative derogatory word, that's your choice for bringing it back up in the space.
Yeah.
You can't bring a word up and start utilizing it because you want to, and then tell everyone you can't. Like, that's not how speech works, right? And I tell people this and they get salty. Saying the N-word isn't illegal. It's not illegal. If you make an action after saying it, then that's different. But you're not ever going to be arrested for saying the N-word. You're not going to be, there's nothing that's going to happen to you except for people hating you for saying the N-word. And for you to hold your moral parameters around people on their speech, just the same way I feel about pronouns, it's like, I don't care if you have it for yourself. I don't care if you want to utilize it for yourself, but you can't tell people they can or cannot say something. So again, the best way to do it is to not use it yourself. Now, I don't use it, and I can't tell you the last time I've heard someone say that word around. I can't. Oh, obviously, it was probably when I was playing football in college. That was the last time I heard that word even be spoken in general, because I don't use it. Now, if I start using it, I promise people are going to start using it more around me because they're like, oh, this guy's cool with saying this word. Let's say this word around him. I just never understood that. I never understood how you're going to just spit this word out 17 times in a sentence, and then someone says it, and you're like, oh, all of a sudden I'm oppressed. And you're like, dude, what? Spare me.
I might get some hate. So my dad's white, my mom's Filipino. She was born in Maui. So I kind of get the best of both worlds. I always say, like, white people in America are one of the most socially oppressed people.
Damn, you are gonna get hate for that shit.
I am. I'm absolutely going to. I mean,
canceled.
But I mean, am I wrong? Like, let's be real.
No, I've said this many times. I said, as a black person, I have the most freedom out of anybody in America right now, because you know what? I can get on my podcast. I can say anything. I can call out black people. I can call out white people. I can call out Asian people. I can call out Jewish people. I can say the N-word. I cannot say the N-word. I can say cracker. I can say all these different. I could talk about Black Lives Matter. I could talk about Donald Trump. I could talk about Joe Biden. I could talk about Ice Cube. I can literally say so much on here before people even think about canceling me. Okay. Now, if you so much as sneeze and the N-word falls out, you're done. Right? If you walk down the street and give an opinion on BLM, you're done. So, like, if you think about social acceptance, black people can go around and have a ton of virtue signaling aimed towards them to where they can get away with stuff purely because we understand the historical effect that's happened to black people. So we give them a free pass to not be held to certain standards. So I agree with you. I don't think many people will agree with you, but I completely agree with you because I exercise that freedom. I can get on my podcast, as you've been on many times before and you've listened to. I can talk about the most outlandish stuff. And people are like, oh, wow, that's a good point. Now, if you got on and talked about the exact same thing, done.
100%. Dude, I've been there. I was cancel cultured, right?
Cancel
cultured. That's like a term now. You're still drinking water, man.
Dude, yeah. So I went to lunch and I had some margaritas, and I got a Zen. I got an Upper Decky. I got an Upper Decky in my lip right now. So I'm chilling, man. I've been drinking less whiskey, and I've been doing I've been doing more Zeners,
What is
and
that?
it's a little Zen. It's a little Zen, dude.
Really?
Yeah, dude. First time I've ever done nicotine in my entire life.
Holy shit.
Yeah, dude. I don't recommend any type of substance to anybody. But as someone who has ADD, this has actually helped with focus. Um, and I did a ton of research on it before I started taking them because I don't smoke. I don't even really smoke cigars or anything. I don't do any marijuana. I don't do anything. Um, but I wanted to cut back on drinking whiskey and beer. Um, and so yeah, I looked into these, and it's a medical grade nicotine, so there's actually no risks for cancer. The biggest risks are like sores in the mouth and addictive. And I'm not addicted. I don't have an addictive personality whatsoever.
Yeah.
So yeah, I've been taking a couple of them every now and then, and it's kind of like I used to do Adderall in college, and it kind of gives me like a mild version of that, where it's like I just kind of focus on stuff a little bit more.
Mm.
And I do the little 3 milligrams, nothing crazy. It's kind of cool, man. It's kind of cool.
Huh.
And I'll take like in the last 3 days I didn't have any. Like I never consume stuff like consistently. So like I'll have some for a couple days, and then for like a couple days I won't have any, and like I have no urge. Like sometimes I even forget about it.
Yeah.
And if I could do that, if I can forget about something, I know I don't have a problem. But if I'm like, oh crap, yeah, well, I gotta find my, I gotta do that. then I'm like, okay, I need to stop doing this. But yeah, like even when I smoked marijuana and stuff like that, it was never like I need to have it. It was like, oh, we're hanging out, cool. And other stuff that I've done, but yeah, I never just really got addicted to stuff. So yeah, I've been trying it. It's been chill. It's been cool.
So, ladies and gentlemen, that's why John is able to build like 5 things at once.
No, I just started this like 2 months ago. I
Yeah.
started in December, I think. And I've gone through like what four of these things. There's 15 of them in there. So 2 months, 15, so 30. So I've used it half the time. But yeah, I'm actually kind of a fan, dude. I'm kind of a fan. Gives you a little
Good for you.
extra testosterone boost. I've had more energy. I used to be like really dragging in the middle of the day. I used to do a lot of 5-hour energy drinks too. So I used to be pounding. I just threw away like a bunch of bottles that were empty that I had sitting around a 5-hour. I used to literally have to have a 5-hour. Like I would say 5-hour energy drink is the thing that I've become the closest to being addicted to. Because the caffeine was something that like every morning I would get up and I'm like, if I can just make it to the gas station to get a 5-hour, my day is going to get better. And I really wanted to eliminate those because those aren't that great for you either. Actually, those are way worse for you than Zen
Oh, yeah.
is. So I really wanted to get away from those. And since I've been doing Zen, I've only had, I think, one 5-hour energy drink in the past couple months. So yeah, man, I don't know. And give me 3 months and I'll be doing something different. So, it's just this is actually the first time I've publicly said that I do Zen. It's such a trend right now. It's such a trend. I hate it. Like I don't want to talk about it. It's like having a Razor phone, like in high school. It's like I got the Razor flip phone. Like I didn't want one because everyone had one, or like the Chrysler 300s. I didn't want one because everyone had one. So I hate trends. I hate popular stuff.
So, not to hijack the conversation, but you're in Texas.
Mm-hmm.
How is it's been on my mind because I've recently, just yesterday, actually last night, I've been monetized on Twitter, on X.
Oh man.
Yeah, you got to get like 5 million impressions within 90 days, and I got it in 43.
Dang, nice.
So I've been talking a lot of shit politically, and one of the main things is what's going on with the border. How's that going? Being within the area of Texas, and I'm sure it's miles from where you live, and life probably hasn't changed one bit since, but I'm in Alaska, you're in Texas. My governor has sided with Texas. There's been 25 states as of last week that have sided with Texas. Your opinion, has the area around you, the energy changed? That's my question to you. You're in Texas. You're the only person I know in Texas.
Really?
Yeah, really.
Obviously I stand with Texas, and I said this earlier on my live is I think this is a huge pivotal movement. We're not only are the people standing against our federal government, but we now have local government and state government standing against federal. Now, when COVID happened, we had a bunch of individuals that were like, "I'm not listening. I'm gonna do my own thing. I'm gonna take care of myself. I don't
Yeah.
care what you put into law. I don't care what you put into ordinance. I don't care what's mandatory." A lot of individuals were like, "I'm not buying into what you're telling me because I know in my reality it's false." That's one. That's one thing that people as citizens can do. A whole nother ball game, a different ballpark playing a different game is when you have a government turn their back on what the federal government is asking for them to do and do their own thing, especially a state like Texas. Um, and honestly, I stand with it 100%. And I don't know, and I'll be honest, I'm not going to speak out of ignorance. I don't know all the nuances and the minor things that are happening. I'm not a huge Greg Abbott fan. If I'm being honest, he virtue signals a lot. He does the bare minimum at the right time, just so that he can gain traction with his voters. So I think he's doing a little bit of that right now. But overall, to be upset with a state for protecting its own borders is a joke. And what exacerbates the whole situation is how we're standing to protect all these foreign people's borders. We're trying to protect Ukraine's border and keep them safe. We're trying to insert ourselves into the Israel and Palestine conflict to protect their borders and their livelihood and their safety. We're injecting cash into Ukraine to help their small businesses thrive and keep them functioning and their economy going. And then to sue our own state, a state that is in our own country, for trying to do exactly what we're helping other countries do, is kind of the biggest middle finger to the American people. And I will stand with Texas 100%, even though maybe I don't stand with what they're doing 100%.
Yeah.
I stand with Texas 100%. And the razor wire argument is an absolute joke, because Ian, if you try to break into a car dealership and climb over razor wire and you get sliced to freaking a pulp, no one's going to bat an eye because you were doing something illegal and trying to break into somebody's property, right? If I try to break into somebody's house and I get sliced and diced up by whatever they have outside their window because I'm trying to break into their house, no one's going to bat an eye because I was going somewhere where I wasn't allowed. The virtue signaling of assuming that purely because you're in Mexico, you have the right to come across our border, untethered, undocumented, unharassed, is an absolute joke. We protect things. We make it difficult to get places that people aren't supposed to be. And until you guys start taking care of, by you guys I mean the federal government, until you guys start taking care of the hundreds of thousands of homeless people, mentally ill people, veterans that are needing assistance here in the United States, you have no say whatsoever on who we let into this country. You can't be going through a foreclosure while simultaneously giving home advice. You can't be going through a divorce while simultaneously giving marriage advice. We are literally having a foreclosure and a divorce happening in our country, yet we're still out here virtue signaling to people how to do and live their lives better when we can't even do this shit for ourselves. And to all you liberals out there that want to say we can do both, how in the F can we do both when we can't even do the first one yet? Right? We can't do both. Y'all are the people that are like, we can do both, and we can't even keep kids from being trafficked. We are the number one consumer of trafficking, and y'all act like you're virtue signaling and care about Hispanic people coming over the border and their safety, but y'all don't want to talk about, Angel Studios video that brings awareness to trafficking. You don't want to talk about the homeless population that you just stepped over this morning while sending a $10 donation to Ukraine. Like, you don't want to deal with any type of human kindness, but you want to pretend that you care about human kindness. And with that, long story, I stand with Texas 100%. I will protect my land, my family, before I protect your land and your family. I will protect my state before I protect your state. I'll protect my country before I protect your country. It's not that hard to comprehend. It's actually pretty common sense.
Yeah. This is a pretty deep, because it all bleeds into what I believe in. I mean, I'm fully, so I read a lot of books, honestly, like 90 to 100 a year of what I like to read. And the one I've been reading is called The Marxification of Education. And
you want to tell me what Marxification means before
I'm getting fucking buzzed. Marxification of education. Marxism implemented into our education system, basically. Check it out. It's a book called Marxification of Education. Okay. Right. So there's a gentleman named Pablo Freire who's a Brazilian Marxist. He was friends with Che Guevara, Fidel Castro, all those psychos, those communists. I am super anti-communism. Anyways, quick story short, 1995, the Pablo Freire education framework was adopted into our American education, starting with the colleges, eventually bleeding into the elementary schools. So everything we are witnessing today is a part of this Marxist. My wife's messaging the shit out of me because she's watching live.
Ian, shut up! You're ruining the family.
And like, John, I kind of feel like I've followed you for years. We could be totally friends in real life. So I know, like, you think of these awesome things. How many times have you thought of these cool things to say and then you write them down, say them later? Because if you don't, you're gonna forget it.
I usually just forget them.
Every now and then, 1 out of 10 times, I write them down.
I was about to say, I mean to write them down, and then I wait like 10 minutes too long, and I'm like, damn it, what was it?
So to make everything relevant, what we've been talking about, step one into the Marxist subversion of the United States of America, which I believe has been going on since probably just after the Cold War. Step one, and this is the only step I have written down, FYI, folks. Reduce the people's overall pride and expectations from their country, and instead of associating patriotism with America first, doing shit for your own country, you associate it with being compliant to the state and with sending money to foreign governments. That is patriotism now. So Ukraine,
damn.
I mean, I just, something I thought of. And I feel like, for years, decades, and what the hell is his name? Yuri Bezmenov. I'm sure you've heard that name before, John.
Nope.
You haven't?
I don't think so.
Holy shit. So he's like I have a Safari tab saved. There's my proof right there.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I know who that is.
That guy. So, defective KGB agent, whatever, from the 80s, there's interviews of him saying, like, to convert the American society, you have to start with generations ahead of time. Pablo Freire, Framework Education, 1995. And then there's different, so that this book I'm referring to, Marxification of Education, there's plenty of theories like the queer theory, the transgenderism, LGBT, individualism, all this kind of stuff that kind of bleeds into his framework with, you're dying metaphorically and born again Marxist. You're finding oppression in everything, regardless if it has oppression in it or not. All this shit is taught to our kids firsthand, secondary to math, science, and all the shit that they should be teaching our kids, right? So, I'm kind of the person that I think of something like, I really don't want to believe that, but I'm going to read into it. And then every single time, 10 out of 10, I end up reading into it. And it's like, holy shit. That's very likely.
Yeah.
I think of these things. I want to doubt myself. I want to be wrong. And then I go and I find it. And it's like, I wasn't wrong that time. I feel like I'm not wrong, in my opinion. So
you can't be wrong. I mean, it's literally in front of our eyes at this very moment. Like, it's not like we're reading it. Like, you're not even reading into it. You're looking at higher education. You're looking at elementary education. Mm-hmm. You're looking at the books that they want to have in the schools. I don't know if you saw that. I don't know who that she's a black woman that is on CNBC. And she was arguing with the mothers of curriculum or whatever their names. I don't know anything about them, but they were arguing about books that shouldn't be in kids' libraries. And they are fighting so hard to have inappropriate books kept in schools in order to include everyone, which in all reality just disenfranchises people from America, right? America is supposed to be a place of a ton of different people, a ton of different walks of life, a ton of different ideas, religions, and yet they want to censor all of the ones they don't agree with and then push the ones that they agree with, which is the self-loathing. Like you said, patriotism is something that is virtue signaling overseas. Patriotism is hating yourself for being involved in a country that was a colonizing country, or you woke up and you were white and now you got to be apologetic for being that, and then you need to hate the flag because the flag stood for slavery at some point, and you have to hate America because America had slavery at some point, rather than realizing the progress that we've had and loving America for the progress and wanting to encourage the progress. Patriotism is hating where we came from and not talking about how we move forward. And I think I mean, school, I mean, even my daughter right now who's in first grade, um, she's having issues with kids at school purely because these kids, their parents aren't doing anything for them. Their parents are wanting the school system to educate them. The school system is educating them in the way of just don't, it doesn't matter. It's not important. It's not really that big of a deal.
Yeah.
And there's no structure. And my argument with all of this stuff is the way the way you know you're on the right track is when you see people fighting for um homosexuality and uh I would for lack of a better word because we're live, um just sexuality in general on all aspects, whether it be inappropriate, whether it be bees and the birds, whether it be um you know, criminal activity in that realm. They want kids to know about this. They want kids to be victim of sexuality rather than them learning all this other stuff. Now, if you want to allow that, wouldn't you say that we should be able to allow the Bible and prayer and Pledge of Allegiance and all this other stuff? Because if you're going to be inclusive, you have to be all inclusive, which is why I truly don't believe Christianity should be in the education system. Because with that, neither should any of this other stuff. But
Yeah.
the ridiculousness of it is people want their beliefs to be in and they want everyone else's to be out. And when you let one in, you have to let them all in, right? Because that's how it works. Now, when you have a democracy that's not actually a democracy, all of a sudden you start forcing things to be allowed while banning other things, right?
Yeah.
So again, we're in a really hypocritical time. And I think the children are the ones suffering because they're in there being like, you know, half the teachers in there are horrible because no one wants to be a teacher because you're dealing with kids who aren't taught at home. We stick our kids on iPads 90% of the time. Like I can't tell you how many times I've seen kids on iPads in the grocery store.
Mhm.
And I'm like, wait, this is the one time you can educate your kid, you can point out things, you can have them help you shop, you can have them use deductive reasoning and logic and direction and you know self-accountability to go find something and all this other stuff. And rather than do that, we put them on an iPad, then simultaneously complain that the school system isn't teaching them well enough. And it's like, you're not teaching them. And then those kids go to school and they learn all this ridiculousness. And then they come out hating themselves, hating America, hating their parents, not taking authority seriously, getting unalived by cops, getting incarcerated, getting in accidents, getting knocked up, having children, you know, that they don't take care of. And then the cycle repeats itself. And slowly and slowly and slowly, you're weakening our society to believe in nothing. And if you stand for nothing, you'll fall for anything. And currently, which we haven't even, I mean, I would say this has been going on since the 80s. We currently have, I would say, two generations. One, I would say, is Gen Z, and one is the generation coming up below them that stand for literally nothing. Their idea of pride and patriotism is virtue signaling to every single empathetic aspect of anyone. Oh, you're gay. Oh, I'm so proud of you. I'm like, dude, when was the last time someone said they're proud of you for being straight or for being a man? It's like, dude, you just are that. Stop acting like that's a badge of honor. Stop giving people awards for literally, oh, he came out gay. I'm so proud. Dude, I don't care, man. Go be gay. No one's gonna like. I don't need to throw a party for you. And it's giving these people this false validation to where when serious things actually start to happen, they're not going to realize what it takes to actually fight for what they believe in, which is why people scream instead of actually fight articulately. I don't know if I mean, you know, you've seen those videos where it's like they're upset about books being banned, and you're like, well, explain why this book should be there, and they're like, I shouldn't have to explain. It just should be, and I'm like, and you're an idiot. Like you can't fight for something that you don't even know why you're fighting for. You're just fighting for it because someone told you it hurt their heart that it got removed. And you know, like I say all the time, you're living in a freaking Disney movie and you're following your heart thinking it's going to get you to the end. And we need to take warning labels off stuff.
Yeah, no, you're right. And that's exactly what I'm talking about. You know, you just said it yourself. It's been going on since the 80s. And so this virtue signaling that you're talking about is like the positive side that's coming out of finding the oppression in everything, regardless if it has oppression in it or not. And that's I keep all, you know, I want to not believe what I'm thinking is going on. And every time I dive into it, like I read a little bit more, it's like, dude, this is exactly what's going on. I believe that America is like the last straw on the camel's back to be broken. I'm a little buzzed, so that's probably not the exact saying for it. It's the last straw. Last horse, man. It's the last straw. And they've been going at it since the Cold War. And it's like, I know there's plenty of villains on the right. No one's freaking perfect. I don't necessarily side with any side. I am more so at the standpoint now. It's like, you know what? America is a business. We are the owners of this business, and we've employed people to run this business. And now the people running the business are now telling us how to freaking run our business. And now we're just sitting back and taking it up the butt and not doing anything and not firing our employees. We're just letting them run it.
That's the thing, though. That's exactly it. It's like when you have employees that aren't doing the job you hired them for, get rid of them. But when, again, which is why communism would never work, neither will socialism. When the business owner is a group of people, you have to come to an agreement. And if you can't come to an agreement, you can't fire anyone, which means whoever is running it corruptly is pretty much autonomous because they don't have anyone that can single-handedly take them out, which is good because you don't want someone to have that power. But also it's a downfall. This is why mental manipulation and softening is so important. Because if you can make sure no one is ever on the same page, you'll never lose your power. Because you need the masses to remove you. You need the masses to correct you. And if the masses are too busy arguing about racism and gender and all this other stuff, then they're not paying attention to the fact that you're literally, selling them to the highest bidder. Yeah. And that's where we are as America. It's like we can't grasp that voter fraud happens unless we are the ones losing. So if the Democrats lose this next election, I'm sure that they'll completely acknowledge that voter fraud is a thing, right? Same thing with conservatives. When Trump wins, they can't fathom that voter manipulation is a thing, right? None of us will ever be on the same page because we're so polarized with all this BS. And meanwhile, the same people that run it are still running it. They're like, haha, they think that it matters. It doesn't matter. And I also think on the flip side of this coin, you also have social media. Information is so readily available that you are seeing the select few who are absolute lunatics. Mm-hmm. And reality usually doesn't reflect that. Like I tell people this all the time. Like if you go and walk around your literal life in reality, not online, you'll find out that most people are good. Most people are nice. Most people are respectful. Most people aren't racist. Most people aren't this. Most people aren't that. But because you see it so much online, you assume the world is like going to hell, which I don't think is as bad as we think it is now, but I definitely know it's intentionally heading in that direction. Yep. And I would say in another 2 decades, we're going to be dealing with a lot of potato-brained people who literally can't form their own thought and are purely manipulated by emotion, thinking that it's their literal intent, if that makes sense.
100%.
Yay.
Right. I have no rebuttal.
It's just a bummer. Like I have daughters and my daughter's having, trouble at school with just shithead kids, if I'm being honest, who are just not smart, who are easy. Like they believe in these things that are just like ghosts and monsters and stuff. And like they're arguing with each other about like, cause my daughter's very smart. And she's like, that's not real. Like, I'm not going to be scared about that because it's not real. And these kids are literally believing this stuff and they're living life predicated off of these beliefs. And it's kind of a bummer to see these kids living in fear or living in doubt of themselves, living, in a shell that's like honing in their abilities because they believe that all this stuff exists and these challenges exist before they face a challenge. It's like, let your kid find the challenge first.
Yep.
And then help them work through the challenge. Don't create these challenges. And I talk about this in the Black community. Don't create this challenge before it actually presents itself. Don't tell your young Black kid that they're going to struggle with white people. Now, if some white person comes up to them and presses them, deal with that specific situation. But these kids are growing up thinking that the world is out to get them and they choose to not succeed. They not to succeed. They choose to rein their abilities in. And that's why we have a bunch of kids who are mediocre. They're graduating with degrees because they think that's important, but they don't even know how to utilize it. They don't know how to go out and sell it and make something out of it. Like it's, the Rockefellers are winning. They're creating a bunch of minions that are going to work in the workforce and have no opinion of their own and not voice their opinion about politics because God forbid they lose their job. They got to collect debt. They're going to have to pay for the debt for the rest of their lives, which means they're going to be indebted to employers that don't care about them, which means they're going to hate their life. They're not going to feel valued, which means they're not going to value their opinion, which means they're not going to value their body, which means they're not going to value their children, which means they're not going to value the family, which means America is going to eventually end up way worse than we are now. And good luck.
And that's the whole point.
And they're doing a good job at it.
So I'm pretty active on Twitter. Well, X now.
I need to get on X, dude. I really do. I just keep not.
I think, in my opinion, it's the future of social media just because they're about to implement live video chat just like TikTok.
What do you
Soon.
mean?
I mean, so like, they have like the spaces now where everyone get on, like it's kind of like Clubhouse.
Oh,
I
they're gonna
think
do video chat on there?
They're gonna do video soon. That's
Hell
Elon's.
yeah.
They kind of sort of have it already, where you can tie in like OBS Streamlab or whatever to Twitter, and then it pops up on a space. But I think it's coming out soon. So like a month ago, I decided I'm gonna pay the $22 a month for the Premium X account. I got my little blue check, blah blah blah. And to get monetized, you need like 500 followers, and you have to make 500 million impressions within 90 days. So I did it in like 43. And I wanted to jump on that wave because I know what's coming. I know Elon's vision of Twitter is basically being the all end all platform.
Yeah.
Pretty high expectation, but it is the richest man in the world going for it. So I'm pretty confident he's gonna be able to pull it off. But I strongly suggest that you do move a lot of your content over there. It's a lot of work. I'm saying it was like I started following like CNN and all the shit I have no interest in, but you need to comment on the big name profiles. So the trick here's some advice for all you 12 people on TikTok right now. If you are on X right now and you're a blue check, if you want to get your impressions up, the trick is to reply on big name accounts 30 to 40 times a day.
Damn.
And you'll get your impressions. Sometimes I'll get like 500,000 people like getting an impression on a post. You don't have to be rude. You just comment whatever you want. So I hit that goal. I'm monetized now. My goal is personally to move all of my podcast stuff to X and the majority of my quote unquote content to X. And I think that's where it's going to go, man, to be honest.
I'm trying to open my X. I haven't logged into it in like 6 months. I have 132 followers. What's up?
I just broke 800 this morning, actually.
Oh, nice. Yeah, I started on it because we talked a while ago, and I was like, okay, I'll create a profile, and then it really is hard to break into it. I like hosting the platform, so like to get into someone else's, you have to sit there and listen before you even get a chance to like speak. So I was like, man, this is because I did Clubhouse for a while, and I was like, Clubhouse is a bunch of fake business people trying to pretend they're more important than they are. Yeah. And but I do, if they're gonna do, I'm a video guy. I'm a video platform guy. I hate the whole, like, I think my pizzazz when people get to see me and see like how passionate and serious I am. Like, I'm not a troll. I'm not trying to voice it. Like, I need you to see my face so you know I'm not effing around. But if they start doing video, then I definitely need to start getting on there and
it's coming. Like I said, there's ways around it. I don't know if you're familiar with, like, I think it's OBS Streamlabs or something, whatever.
Yeah, I use that.
Yeah, you can tie it to Twitter to where it'll show up on like it'll be highlighted in pink on the spaces to where it's video, and you have people just like TikTok typing and it's your video on there. But I think Elon's goal is to get rid of that like third-party tie-in and just have it for Twitter. So I jumped on the wave years ago I'm ready for it because I want to move all my stuff to that. But I think it's where the future is going to be, man. You're not going to have to censor yourself like on TikTok.
Well, and you probably won't be as censored. Like for me, like I have almost 1 million followers, and I've been that way for 2.5, almost 3 years now, due to censorship. And it's like I can't grow my content because they've red flagged it. My viewers aren't seeing it. I'll post a video, it's got 3,000 views on it, and it's like not even 1% of my viewership. Mm-hmm. And it's like, well, that's because I'm a genuine dude that's not doing TikTok dances. Whereas I think Elon's platform is whatever your content is, people that want to see it will see it, versus trying to shut content down because they don't want people to get traction because their message is opposing whatever the content strategy is for TikTok. Yep. And I don't even think it's fully political on TikTok. I think TikTok just wants a certain viewership. They want the viewership that makes them money. And I don't think, information is that viewership. They want the people on the TikTok shop selling something at all times, getting awards, getting gifts. That's how they make their money. So if you don't do that, they don't really care.
Yeah. Someone said you have a secret account for dances on TikTok. I've been watching the chat. I have to see the chat all the time. I know I'm supposed to ignore it.
Don't lie. You have that's leftover eggs. He just keeps asking me to build his house like every time he's on the live. That's been going on for like 2 years. He's one of like the OG followers, and he's been asking me to build his house for like since 2020.
I'd let you build one of my houses.
I don't want to build your house. I don't want to build any more houses. I've built enough houses.
I'm tired of you.
You're in the middle of a remodel. You're in the middle of a bathroom remodel.
Shit.
I don't have a remodel open right now. It's the first time in like 10 years that I don't have like a remodel open at the moment or a build. That's pretty nice.
Yeah. Uncovering people's cut corners. I'm just going to leave it at that.
When you have to make the decision, do I fix it or do I just cover it up?
Just leave it. Yep.
Anyway, Ian, it's been great to have you on the podcast. It's always fun to chop it up. We'll have to do it again. So much going on in the world. I feel like we always get political, but in a positive way, just in like an observation. That's one thing I wish about politics, because I'm constantly told, stop talking about politics. But like, it's such a huge aspect of life, and I don't want to talk about it in a negative way. Like, I don't want to be like, I hate these Democrats or I hate these Republicans. I just think it's something that you can talk about in a friendly manner. Even when I'm hanging out with the homies, like, and we had a game night down at the house, the lower house, 2-3 weeks ago. And we're just sitting around, shooting guns, playing video games, and we just talk. You just talk about politics. You agree, you disagree. It's just being aware of what's going on and hearing different perspectives on it, I think, is important for people to do, and not get so like worried about everything. Like, I'm not here to tell you you're a bad person because you don't agree with me. I'm not here to tell you to be like me. I'm just, it's just cool to talk about. Just like talking about, Barbie or Taylor Swift.
No, I agree. It's tough to not talk about politics these days, but like I said, it's involved with everything, and sometimes you can talk positive stuff about politics, I suppose,
or not, and just don't be a dick about it.
Don't be a dick, and just realize that all of us Americans, whether you're left or right, we have the power in our hands.
Yeah,
we always have.
Yep. And this information is purely opinion, and we are just talking and having discussion. No facts or news articles or information of any literal or factual effect are happening here. It's just conversation, personal opinions that only reflect our own views, no one else's. We're not trying to get Ian canceled again. I live in the world of cancellation, so you can cancel me again. I don't care. But anyway, guys, I appreciate y'all listening to the podcast. Ian, you want to plug your podcast or anything you want to put out there?
Yeah, so I have a full-time job, and I'm a full-time dad and husband, so I do my podcast when I can. I have 2 shows. First one is Small Town Famous, Coffee, Bourbon, and the Great In Between. It's on Spotify and iTunes. I talk about a little bit of everything. I actually had an episode I was going to do today before this episode with a trans conservative Christian woman. It's coming soon. She had a doctor's appointment. She last minute scheduled, forgot about the show. It's all good. It's coming soon. And then the second show is all about dad stuff. It's kind of like a personal diary of mine that I just release out to the world. I'm talking about dad life stuff. I'm going to leave it at that. It's called Instructions Not Included. I figured it was a very appropriate title for a parent, because I have no idea what I'm doing. I have a 3.5-year-old toddler. So every now and then I get on, I do 20 to 30-minute episodes about just dad life stuff and toddler things, and I just put it out there kind of like a open journal. So tune in. If you want to be a guest, I'm taking guests. Whoever wants to be on the show, I am not picky, either or. Just DM me. Small Town FMS, Foxtrot Mary Sierra on X, and that's where you can find me.
I didn't hear anything you said after you said a trans Christian conservative.
I know, right?
I didn't hear.
On paper, we should be bad guys with those folks, but she is a longtime friend of mine for about 1.5 years now from Twitter.
Is she on TikTok too?
I don't think so. Her name is her. I can say her name because it's her social media name. Lavon DuPont is her name.
I know who that is. She reached out. Does she have a podcast?
I don't think so. She wanted to start one, but she has a fairly big TikTok following and a decent sized Twitter.
I just don't, and this is no disrespect. Why? I don't understand how you would want to be a Christian as a trans or gay person. That, like, to me, and I'm not knocking it, but to me, that's like me as a black person wanting to be like a KKK member. It's like, that's the one group that like doesn't understand you. I'm excited for your podcast to drop, because I want to hear, because again, I know nothing about that realm, but I find it to be so counterintuitive.
It's
Interesting though. I definitely want to hear that podcast.
it's different because she used to. I know you're closing out here, but she used to side on the left, the whole rainbow flags and everything. She's probably in her late 40s by now, so she's gone through it all. She is a trans woman, used to be man, now a woman. I respectfully call her by her. She is a her. I've known her for about a year and a half now from Twitter.
She's also still a man. I mean, she's still a man. And I don't mean that disrespectfully. You can identify. I'm not gonna knock her, but like it's just one of those things. And again, and I'm sure, and I know another trans. Because I talked to another trans conservative. The trans conservative, I fully understand. That makes 100% sense.
Yep.
The Christianity is where it throws me for a loop because I'm just like, that just seems like a group that you wouldn't want to be a part of.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I mean, I'm just so curious, and it's so refreshing to find people like that are willing to talk, because I feel like most of the time it's like I would love to learn more about it and understand the brain behind it. Where did you come from? Why are you here? What's your idea behind things? But unfortunately, the group loves to be salty about stuff, but they never want to educate. They never want to talk. They never want to have the conversation, and they're mad when people are ignorant about it. I'm like, well, what are our options? I open my mouth and you hate me, and it's like, how am I ever supposed to learn like where the hell you're coming from if you're not willing to like, put your ego aside for a second and have a conversation? Like, I love talking to white people about black people things. It's like, I don't care if you misstep or misspeak. I understand you're coming from a place of trying to educate yourself. So I'm excited to listen to that podcast because it's rare you get a glimpse into that without, with the emotional ridiculousness removed.
Oh yeah, and she's, I consider her a friend. And listening to her in Twitter Spaces, she has been in the same position as you have been, to where, you get all the racial slurs thrown at your way. I've seen it myself. And she gets called, the same equivalent type names
from like the
from her former community, because, oh my God, you're siding with the enemy. Because on paper, I should be a mortal enemy to her.
Yeah.
And
no one actually supports gay or black. They only support people that think like them. I tell people that all the time. You can be any shape, size, color, gender. As soon as you go against the larger group, you are nothing but an outcast. And that's why the whole I support this is a joke. You got to support individuals.
Absolutely. So yeah.
Awesome.
Hit me up, guys, whenever.
Sweet, guys. All right. I appreciate you guys listening. We'll see you on the next one. Again, this is the John Dawson Perspective. Share the podcast if you enjoyed it. And if you did listen to the whole thing and you want to see those videos will be on the video podcast, which you can get on Spotify or YouTube. I think it'll be on YouTube. But anyway, guys, have a great day.